A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 7 p.m. has clicked in and we are going to start our event. So far, 6 people are watching us and we'd like to start our audience. So I would like to welcome you all to our event. It's the 17th edition of Learn for Change, and our topic for today's event will be the youth integration in technology. My name is Nelson Himbaza, and I'm part of Flatus Africa. I'm specifically serving in the Mentorship for Change department, and I'll be a host for today. So many of you have been thinking, what is a Flatus Africa? Maybe it's the first time that you heard of Flatus Africa, and I want to explain a little bit about Flatus Africa. So we are a youth empowerment organization, and our motto is unveil your potential. Unveil your potential. So you would ask yourself, how do you unveil your potentials? We do unveil our potentials and Africa's youth potential in mainly three areas. Three programs, and those are mentorship for change, it is reading for change, and then learn for change. And all of these three programs, they all create a smooth ground or a platform where information, advices, experiences, skills are passed. That platform helps skills get passed from one person to another or from a generation to another. So for a thorough grasp of what Flatus does, I will go ahead and ask Keza Brenda. Keza Brenda is part of Flatus Africa. She can share a short video which will depict what Flatus does. Keza. Keza, are you ready to share?
change program is a very interesting, very needed program in Rwanda.
When young people spend their time in events like this, it's very positive. It's, it gives me hope for the future of Rwanda. Reading for Change is important because get involved and
Brenda, what happened?
This is the would be able to be engaged in a very meaningful way.
Tenants read and talk about what they're
information is who reads one page travels 1,000 miles. Without reading, someone remains somewhere in the dark. It is as if you're remaining somewhere in the dark. You are very close. You don't know what is happening on the other side of the world.
One of the things that reading does, it changes you if you want to change.
If you don't read, you are not different from someone who can't read.
Did you know that the number of books you read doesn't really matter?
Reading for Change is exciting to young people. We learn a lot. Every category of people is able to attend.
In order for change, you need knowledge. In order for knowledge stuff, you need to read. And I would love to encourage a lot of people at a younger age, even the youth and even older, to bring up that culture of beginning to read.
The work that you're doing is amazing, and I think this organization is really important.
Reading is a fundamental part of life. It helps you to become more brilliant. It helps you to solve your problems, and it can create a curiosity that allows you to move forward in every way of your life.
It's really a good opportunity to share information, experience, improvement in our different professions. And it's a free event, and I hope we get to see you very soon. Reading is very important.
And it's wonderful to be here to attend the Reading for Change program today.
I was really excited by the questions that were asked by the students and the energy about youth empowerment and youth engagement.
Reading is very important to develop yourself and to develop knowledge about the world.
Reading for Change, very transformational, very good. These guys are doing very amazing things here in Kigali.
You'll meet lots of people. You'll have really good opportunities to talk about things that are important to you, and you'll learn a lot.
These events are worth listening and learning from. So that's really good.
I lead the change to challenge. I read for change.
Well, thank you very much, Brenda. I think that video has depicted what Atlas Africa has done in its first 2 years before, after its establishment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are happy and privileged to be joined by our guest speaker for tonight's event. And allow me to introduce you our guest speaker. He is an experienced business development manager with a demonstrated history in working in information and technology and services industry. He's equally skilled in research, management, customer service, and strategic planning. On the side of experience, our guest speaker has a very rigorous working experience with Africa's Talking Limited for now 5 years, over 5 years actually. And in 2016, he was a developer and telecom relations manager. In 2017, he was business development manager. In 2018, since 2018 till today, he is country manager of this company, Africa's Talking chapter in Rwanda. His name is Jack Ngari, and he's with us tonight. Jack, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Nelson, for the introduction.
Would you mind sharing a small note of opening?
Sure. Well, I'm humbled actually to be your guest of honor today. So I think, I'm humbled for that. And great job you guys have been doing for the youth. To start with, actually, I've been part of a mentoring program called Africa Youth Leadership Forum. So that's how I actually grew into becoming who I am now. Because in everything one does, you need to have somebody to show you the way. Like, we don't have all the time in the world to get the experience you want, but when you reach out to people that have that certain experience, that have lived to that certain level, it helps you and it saves you a lot of time. So as you said, my name is Ajang Gary. I'm the country manager of Africa's Talking, which is a Pan-African telecommunication company. So we work in 24 African countries, and now we've expanded into Asia, India specifically. So we do serve use our technology to derive a message to the population. That's why we're called Africa is Talking, because you want Africans' voice to be heard. So we do this in way of technology, where we work with different organizations in different areas, let it be in EdTech, e-health, and other different NGOs in agriculture, and not NGOs, even companies. And I would say for now, we are proud to be working with one company that is helping the Rwanda Biomedical Center to communicate with the population about this pandemic. So ideally, that's a bit of my background. I have a background in IT. I did, and I'm still doing IT. I'm a data science scientist. So I started my career when I was still young. After I finished high school, so that's when I knew my passion was IT. And funny enough, I didn't do IT in high school. So I did math, physics, and chemistry. But after that, I was very sure that I wanted to go into IT. You might wonder yourself, how did that happen? I had a project I was doing for fun, and I ended up in a place called K-Lab. K-Lab is the #1 tech hub. So I met there with some interesting people, and they told me, like, why can't you come into the tech world? And I said, yeah, this is something I can do. And I learned that technology is very broad and vast. In some cases, you think technology is only writing codes, technology is only, you know, what you're using like now, social media and everything. But technology is very wide these days, and it's for everybody. Yeah, I think that's a bit of my background. Thank you.
Well, that was a brief and concise short note for the opening. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to make this clear. We're going to have a session which will be divided into two main parts. And I think the first part, a good part of it has been covered by our guest today. So the first part will be, we're going to learn more about our guest speaker's life. And that is to mean his childhood, what was his experiences, and what was his aspirations, what inspires him and why that inspires him, and what are his experiences in career, in what he's doing in relation to today's topic. We think that our speaker is the right person to talk to and help us address issues of technology and youth in today's event. So that will be our first part. We're going to learn about our guest. And the second part, which is the most crucial one, it will be about our topic for today, the youth integration in technology. And we think that our guest speaker is going to help us learn what is technology in reality, and how the Africa's youth and Rwandan youth in specific should perceive technology as well. So a quick reminder, if anyone in audience wants to add on some information in form of comment, in form of question, please feel free, don't limit yourself, just remain brief, concise, and polite as well, because this event is being recorded. So why can't we jump to our first part of the session? Well, maybe something which is fascinating. It's not, in Rwanda especially, it's not quite often to find a CEO or a country manager with dreadlocks. How have you got yourself dreadlocks?
Well, that's a very good question and interesting as well. Well, I tend to happen to be in an environment where we live in dreadlocks. Starting with the company I'm working with, my CEO also have dreadlocks, and most of the people in the top management. So it's just a mentality that we have that don't look at somebody's appearance, look at what they have to offer. Because if you look at somebody's appearance, you lose a lot. you lose a lot. I've seen so many great people, but their appearance, if you judge them by appearance, you'll be mistaken. So I think we got into that culture. I will not say that it was intentional. I just said like, hey, let me put the dreads or what. It just come like that. You know, you feel like you're inspired. You're inspired into that. And unfortunately, in our society, people with dreadlocks are given a bad name. They have so many bad tags, and I believe I want to change that and show that it is not about how I'm looking, it's what I'm doing and what I can offer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very good because we are here to learn from you, even though you have dreadlocks, but we think what you have for us is not how you look. So let us jump to our first question. May you describe for us what was your childhood experiences and aspirations briefly?
Well, so I would say since childhood, I was a bit stubborn. I was so quiet but stubborn. So I used to play with all the electronics, computers. I happened to have a laptop when I was very young, and unfortunately I destroyed it. So I was just trying to see like, how does this work? It was something very new. I used to destroy things a lot to learn how they're working. Actually, that was my main goal. I remember there's this one time I cut the cable of our TV and I was like, I have to fix that. And I did fix it, but unfortunately after 10 minutes, it burnt off. So yeah, that's how I got inspired into tech. And I happened to be reading a lot of books, and I would see like in the future, technology is going to lead. We came from the industrial age and now we're on a technological era. So with that, I said like, I don't have to be left behind. I have to learn. So I started on baby steps. I started by learning Excel. That is around 2008. So I started by learning Excel, and till now, what I learned in Excel, I'm using it. So that's how I was inspired. I will see in Excel, you put some formulas and you have, and you get an answer. And most of us, we don't love math. Truth to be told, most of the people I've met, we don't love math. And I imagine like, wow, I can just put this thing in a sheet and it gives me a formula and I have an answer. And that's how I got interested into IT. And from there, I went to video games. I loved video games. Unfortunately, I no longer love them. But at that time, I was so fascinated saying like, how can I just press buttons and I see something is working? Like I wanted to understand the idea and the technology behind that. So that's how I got actually interested into IT.
Well, I want to point this out that you had a very good childhood experience. In fact, playing with laptops where others were playing with other things.
I also did that.
Okay, it was something good. So the second question, as of now, what is the most important thing to you and what are your short-term goals?
Well, I think the most important thing to me, it's more of what I'm learning. Like, you know, in this COVID period, I learned that we have a lot of time that we don't use. Like we have ample time, you know, the time you use maybe to do something else, which distracts you. So I learned that time is the most valuable thing you can have. And I learned that in different ways. If you see people that are sick, you might say like, hey, so if when you're sick, you would understand that how valuable time is. I would say for now, time is the most valuable thing I have, and I try my best to use it. There's a quote I read somewhere. Somebody was saying, "Don't blame your distractions," you know, because we tend to blame distractions. Like, hey, these days we have social media, IG, you know, Snapchat, but don't blame them. But you can use them as tools. I've seen people making money out of Instagrams and Facebook, while for us we call it distraction. So it's about how you handle it. My 5 years goal, I want to be a very good data scientist. Funny enough, so because I would say I'm still an amateur. I haven't wrote so many codes yet in data science, and I want to be part of the change I'll see in my country, because I've seen this country like for 20 years coming from one place to another, and I want to see myself somewhere in there making a change. And I think that's why I was actually honored to be part of this conversation.
Wow, but you've told us some part of your career, how you got into your career, and we want to know what are some of the challenges that you face, and how do you manage to overcome them? And if you may tell us which other career you think you would fit in if you did not do technology.
Oh, wow, awesome. So I think the biggest challenge I faced, I co-founded a company when I was 18. It was a tech company. And at that time, we were so young, And everywhere we would go to pitch our ideas, they would just say, hey, you're young, like, what are you even guys doing? And that is like 12 years ago. So people would see us like kids. They would say, hey, you guys are kids and what, you know, and it hindered our project where even our startup failed. We tried to push as much as possible with the little funds we had, but age was a very, very big challenge for me because you can imagine you have a product that you want to bring in the market, but instead of somebody seeing the product you want to offer, they'll just look at your age. So that was a very big challenge for me. And some of the products we're actually thinking about are working now because we wanted to make an edutech platform back then. So now it's working. We had a project where we wanted to create a website for every school and it failed. But it was only successful in Lycée de Kigali. And it happened because I'm an OB of Lycée de Kigali. So I was able to talk to the director and I told him like, no, this project can work. So he had me and we launched the project in Lycée de Kigali and actually Glory as well. So after that, in other schools, it's failed. They didn't see the need of having a website. They didn't see a need of automating their reports and system. But now I think after more than 8 years now, it's working. And maybe it was bad timing at then. People did not understand technology. Yeah, but age was a very big hindrance. Yeah. And the other one, if another career I would choose, well, I think I would choose to be a soldier. I'll choose to be a soldier. If I was not an IT, I'll be in the army right now.
Sure.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
All right. But this thing that you put out is something which is hindering a lot of people out there, people who are hindered from their age, how they look. We've started with how you look. Now, stopping people from attaining their goals because of how they look or their age is something which is hindering African and Africa's youth, and this should change. And I think everyone who is on this call or on this platform will also have some idea of this. Should children be stopped from attaining their goals because they're young, or should we see what they're capable of doing? So that is a good thing that we should learn from you as well. So another question: did you ever want to give up ever in life? And if yes, what made you keep going on?
Well, yeah, several times. Several times I felt like giving up. Like you're doing something, but there are baby steps, and you're like, well, why am I still putting my energy into this? And something funny with the IT world, you need to keep learning. You need to keep learning. It doesn't stop. The coding we used to do back in the days, by the time I was in university, is totally different to what we have here. So it's something that needs you to always keep yourself updated. So at times I felt tired. I felt like giving up, I will not lie, so many times. But one thing that kept me going was I would always tell myself, like, I've come this far just to give up now, you know? And I will say, no, I'm not going to give up. I've put a lot of energy to give up at this point. So I'm just going to push till I make it. So that's how actually I even ended up in Africa's Talking. In Africa's Talking, I was about to give up because I'd finished my work in KLab. And in KLab, I was like, I need to look for another career. And just out of the blue, Africa's Talking got me out of KLab, and they tell me, hey, we need somebody to help us in Africa's Talking, develop a relationship. So what is develop a relationship? Develop a relationship, it's all about talking to different devs and learning from them, and from what we learn from them, we create product from that. So by learning from different devs, I learned that they all want to give up at some point, but they say, hey, I've been writing this code up to this moment. I'm not going to give up. So that's what keeps me going. I'm not coming that far to fail at this moment. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's good. And this question actually links up with the next question, which is, when you're about to give up, who do you think is the person that inspires you or you look up to, and why does that person inspire you?
Wow. Well, truth to be told, I would say my president, Paul Kagame. He's one of the people I look out, role models, and I say, like, he has done a lot. If you look at his background, you will not expect him to be here. And if you look at how the country was at 25 years back, if he was not somebody who has a vision for the country, who would have given up, because by the time that the Rwanda we know back then and the Rwanda that we have now, totally different. If it is somebody who would give up easily, would still be backwards. But now he said, no, I have to put my best here and make this country as it is. I think I look up to him a lot. Yeah.
Sure. I think you're not the only one. I think a lot of people and a lot of people in the audience also take His Excellency as their, like, the person that they look up to, and I as well. So my next question is, what is your biggest achievement or achievements, and what do you credit that to?
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one, because I'm still young. I don't know if it's my biggest achievement. Well, so as I told you, I'm part of a group called Africa Youth Leadership Forum, and I was able to study it in different schools, and it has helped so many students, actually. So African Youth Leadership Forum is under an organization called Cornerstone. There's a school also in Magana called Cornerstone Leadership Academy. So the founder of Cornerstone happens to be my mentor. So I helped him during that time in AYLF, just to inspire other people, because I believe in people, and then believe that we always have to be inspired, because if you're not inspired, you'll not be here. So you need somebody to keep you pushing. So yeah, I've inspired so many people, and I've seen them doing some great things, let it be in education, in business, and I feel, at least I would say, I've helped somebody. So I think that's the biggest thing. I feel that I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, you should be proud that you're even educating a lot of people out here, even on this platform. Yeah, that's a good achievement.
Definitely.
So I'm curious to know how you use your free time. How do you spend your free time?
Well, I like hanging out with my friends or listening to music, but now these days, because of the corona situation, I spend most of my time listening to music. I try to watch some movies, though tech movies most of the time. So I'm looking at tech movies or series. So if I don't have that, I go to read books. I'm a fan of books. I've read so many books to the end I felt a bit tired. So I just read one page per day, so that I cannot exhaust all the books I have.
All right.
And one book I can recommend to you, actually, it's Think and Grow Rich. It was the first book actually I read, and I thought and I grew rich. At the first, I was saying, okay, Think and Grow Rich. I was thinking about monetary value. I was saying, hey, I'm going to get rich after reading this book. But after reading that, I got rich, very, very rich, actually, in terms of understanding things, seeing things. I was very inspired. So I would say I got rich at that point. It's by Napoleon Hill.
All right. Yeah, I think people in the audience should go ahead and look for that book, and I as well. I will go ahead. Why don't I recommend a book too? There is a book called Networking. Networking. Networking is another form, or a modern form of networking. So it seems like in today's world, networking has been outdated, and networking is now taking over. So you better look for that book.
Definitely.
The author is Dr. Spencer, I think, if not mistaken, and it's a good book as well. So, what are your top principles? Like 3 of them, top principles that guide your life.
Well, so the first principle I look at, it's saying I don't have to give up. No matter what, I don't have to give up. When I say don't give up, I don't mean that you don't have to wait to feel down, because we are human beings at the end of the day. Like you feel exhausted, even at work, sometimes you feel exhausted. That is okay. It's very okay to feel down, but don't give up at the end of the day. Don't give up, just keep pushing, keep pushing. And also integrity. So integrity is very, very important, because what you have to do is don't do something because somebody is looking at you. No, do the right thing, no matter if somebody is looking at you or not. And trust me, it saves you a lot of pain. Saves you a lot of pain. So I would say those are my two main principles.
Yeah, integrity is something which is very good, because when you do something out of conviction, not out of supervision, that is something which really gets you grow and make the impact, a positive impact on your surrounding as well. So maybe getting to to the conclusion of our first part, I want to ask you, in everything you do, in all affiliations that you have, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind for the upcoming generation, maybe your kids' generation?
Well, interesting. So I want, most of the time you find people are not remembered. They forget you, but they don't forget what you've done. So I feel like I want to change people's mindset. Into an extent, people would say like, that person inspired me, because I know if I change one person, it will change the other one and the other one. If I inspire them in that sense, to inspire the other one. So that is one thing I can do, that I believe that I want to leave behind. I don't want to leave behind a big building or something else, or a very good product, because I've seen, we had so many products. I don't know if you used Hi5. Back in the time, we had a product that was called Hi5, which is a bit the same with Facebook. It was one of the social medias we had at the time, Hi5, MySpace, but nobody uses them at this time. But if you look at the leaders that we had in Africa that fought for independence, we do still remember what they have done for us. So that is the legacy I want to leave. I want to inspire as many people as possible. I want to share the light I have with them. As I say, one candle, if one candle lights another one, doesn't lose its flame. So basically, that's what I believe in.
Wow, that's awesome. Actually, that's what we're there for. We're there to enlighten others and get enlightened by others as well. So I think I want to inform you that we have come to the end of our first part, and we've learned a lot from you. We've learned how was your life, how you grew up as a kid who was playing with laptops, and that was good. At a young age, you had goals. You had, you have goals. You have to be a data scientist. And I think a lot of people in our audience could also have that goal too. And I think they should connect with people like you to get across the drawbacks as well. So you talked of something about age problems. Children out there, they're capable of doing things, but people can't believe in them. That is an issue that has to be addressed, and start believing in young Africans, because they really want to get this continent where we want to experience a continent which our parents never experienced. So you ended on different principles that guide your life, and one thing that I picked from there was integrity, and it's really something that has got successful people to places or positions they're in now. So a lot of things we've learned from you. I think if we open up a conversation to the audience as well, they can tell us more. So let us go to the second part of our conversation, which I think is the crucial part of this session. Now, we have this technology. Everything is exposed to us. How do we use it? How do you integrate it? So maybe my first question will go like this. Many people think that technology maybe starts and ends on a laptop, on a smartphone, on screens at home. But as someone who has been affiliating himself with technology, like Africa Stalking, how do you define technology? And how do you think Africa's youth or Rwandan youth should perceive technology?
Well, interesting. Yeah, so our technology, as we learned so many years back, they were saying it's a means of communication. But at this time where we are, it's more than communication. We no longer use technology for communicating. In agriculture, you find technology, and you find either technology by using that, getting data, and use that data just, for decision making. In health, we have technology as well. Like there's one company that we work with that reminds their patients to take their daily pills. So that is in terms of technology. And technology now, it's the future. Trust me, it's the future. Everything will be done in technology. There's something that is very new in technology called Internet of Things, IoT. So when you hear about Internet of Things, this means that you can enter in your home and it knows you're there, it lights up. So that is Internet of Things. You don't have to do anything. Even if, let's say you have a specific time to go to the shower or you have a specific time to cook something, IoT will be doing that for you. So it's a very new technology that is working. And I've seen some projects, even here in Rwanda, there's some projects in agriculture where they give you data on knowing like the weather, or if it's a very good time to sell. They also use that data to communicate between suppliers and end users and farmers in order for them to get good pricing. So you see now technology is no longer only limited to communication. It's even more than that. And it makes the world becomes one village. Like for now, we have followers from different parts of the world. It's not only in Rwanda. So that's technology. And the way the youth can integrate in technology now, they have to look at the pain points that we have now. In terms, an example I can give you, it's payments. So in payments, let's say M-Pesa. So for M-Pesa, it was created in Kenya. The reason why it actually started in Kenya, the theft rate was very high. Like you cannot walk with let's say 1 million in your pockets. So a young guy sat there and said, how can I walk with 1 million Kenya shillings and be safe? Through the phone. If I create an application where I can send money to somebody who's on another area and I won't get any problem, I'm going to use technology. And now M-Pesa is the biggest payment product in Africa. So it's about seeing what's not working. Like if you want to do something and you're hindered, you say, what can I do? How can I use that? So I think, and the good thing now, we're using technology, regardless if you want it or not, you have to use it. Tap and go to buy airtime, electricity. So we are forced. So we have to look beyond that and see other solutions we can come up with.
Yeah, that's great. The way you say that the youth should now look at the pain points. That's a crucial
exactly
thing. That will give the spring of ideas of how, the fountain of ideas of how we can get advantage of this technology and make money from it and solve problems for the society as well. So given these different emerging technologies, given the AI, given the IoT that you've been mentioning, do you think the Africa's youth or Rwandan youth is ready to take the advantage of this technology that's been exposed to us?
Totally. I do believe that. And I've seen so many things happening. If you look, for example, Tap and Go, it was created here in Rwanda. So Tap and Go, it's one of its kind, and they're actually expanding into other different African countries. So I believe now we have that sense of taking up technology. And if I go to something very common that I know most of us use, social medias. So now people are starting to monetize their Instagram's account, where they do marketing. If you have maybe 10,000 followers, people are using that to get money. It doesn't mean that you're very famous, but because you have so many followers, you can use that for money. So like in Kenya, I've seen that working very, very much. And actually there's one product we want to bring where we have a platform. We want people to share their videos or their photos, and we pay them to do that. So you see, that's one way of the youth to integrate with the technology. Another thing which is very important in technology that we as young people can take up from, it's online courses. So there are so many online courses there, so many that I cannot even count. And that is how you can learn what you cannot learn from another place. For example, you want to take a course in America, there's so many free open courses like Udemy, Coursera, even LinkedIn itself has some free courses, or even if you pay a minimum of $20. So I think we can use that technology to learn what you want. If you're interested in art, you can learn that online. Interested in cooking, you can get that online. So that's a very good way and basic way of indulging with tech. Funny enough, I learned how to cook from YouTube. And from what I've heard from my friends, I try. I'm not very good, but I try. So that is one way we can embrace technology and use out the best out of it.
Yeah, that's very right. That's very true, that we should use the internet, which is exposed everywhere, to learn new skills. You know, this world it's very dynamic. It needs people who are up to date. So it's a matter of updating ourselves, and the internet is there for us. But a question here arises: aren't there any bad predictions about this free access to internet, especially for kids who are very young, who are not able to determine or to determine what to look for or what to search on the internet? Aren't there some bad predictions that these fresh young African brains won't be intoxicated by these bad practices all over the internet?
Yeah, that's very true. I would say there's always some demerits, but the best way to operate in this, like, what can we do from it? And I would say something we never got from our parents is to tell us this is bad and this is bad, you know, to differentiate, you know, like we have that kind of culture where we are so closed and we cannot have that parent conversation. But the good thing with the future parents, so I think we need to be more open to our kids and tell them straightforward, like, this is not good. If you do this, it's not good. This is not good content. All the content there, it's not good for kids and for everyone, actually. And also there's cyber crimes that happen along. So we just need to open up and educate them, because if we don't educate them, they will never get to know, and it will be very bad for them to learn it the hard way or from the street. I like a very good term in law where they're saying, well, ignorance is not they say ignorance is not an excuse. Like if you commit a crime and you say, I didn't know, that's not an excuse. So we need to teach them. We need to bring so much awareness, social media awareness going around in different countries. So we just have to bring awareness in order to protect them from all of that.
Yeah, sure. You just reminded me and my friend last night, we were discussing about these bad things that our youth or children are doing. Is it because aren't there something good to be done? Is it because they are not polite? Well, we thought that if parents got open and talked to the children and and help them in the journey of discovering things, not letting children discovering things for themselves, you know, helping kids to learn new things, but keeping them maybe from the bad things. But they should know that bad things are there, and they don't have to engage themselves with them. So that's a very crucial thing that you've told us. So we're about to end our discussion and maybe open up to the audience, but it would be inappropriate to end this conversation without talking about Rwanda Innovation City. How do you think of Rwanda's Innovation City and how the Rwandan youth should seize the opportunities that it brings?
Well, interesting. That's a very, very good project. Actually, I'm looking forward to see how it comes up and I do believe that we as a country, as Rwanda, if we all work together, I believe so many projects fail because we just leave it for the government. And we have democracy. It's for the people, by the people. So if we sit and just say, let the government do everything, we'll not have that. We are not going to have that. So we need also to come with ideas and say, this is what we can do. This is what we can have for the project. We don't have to sit there and wait for the government to do everything. If you have any idea that can come up in mind that would add value to the project, why not come forward with it? And something I've liked so much now, you find these different government bodies are understanding and are willing to help different innovators just to help ICT ecosystem. There's a new hub, Norsken. Yeah, so they launched here in Africa, specifically in Kigali, which is going to be the biggest tech hub in Africa. So I believe if we delve into that and the youth come with these creative ideas, and something I learned by my time in K-Lab, ideas don't have to be perfect. As long as you have just a small glimpse of an idea, you can bring it up and you can get different people that can help you brainstorm and tweak it. By the time Tap and Go was coming into action, I was actually lucky enough to see it. It started as a vague idea, but they kept brainstorming. They said, hey, let's start with Kigali, because they wanted to start with outside Kigali, but they said we can focus only in Kigali. So I think you can start small, and there's no idea which is crazy. If you could have spoke about IoT and say you're going to have driverless cars, I would not believe that. Like, how can my car drive me? But we know Elon Musk have done that with Tesla. You just sit in your car, you just put the destination and it drives you. So I believe that we as the people, we have to do a lot of work, not leave the government to get to that. If we do that, we'll be failing the government actually. It's not them failing us.
Sure, I like that point that you say that ideas shouldn't be perfect. You know, some people are left behind because they're not credible enough. I mean, they don't have that credibility that the world wants. So the government of Rwanda has really put really much effort into this. They have created this Rwanda Innovation Hub, and there is universities like Carnegie Mellon, like LLU. This is a sign that the Rwandan youth has been put into consideration by a government. There is K-Lab, there is FabLab, and I think we should take advantage of this technology which is exposed to us and see if we can further our country into development as well. So, as a closing question, maybe back in the Africa's Development Bank annual meeting in 2015, Her Excellency, the former chairperson of Africa Union Commission, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, said that if Africa or if African countries invested, if they heavily invested in the youth with the right education, backed up with the right technology, we can take our continent from where it is now to a better place. Do you agree with her?
Totally. And I'll give you actually an example. I've seen so many startups coming from Africa, just to name a few, Flutterwave, Sendwave from Kenya. Flutterwave is from Nigeria. Sendwave, Kasha. Kasha was actually born in Rwanda, and now it's in Kenya. There's actually another one called Agenesis Panda. So these are great startups that have been working. And now if you see somebody like Jeff Bezos is willing to invest in a company like Flutterwave or another company that does payment, I think it shows us that we have the potential. We have the potential. And if I believe there's a report I was reading saying that now this big tech organization are focusing in Africa. Twitter and Google, they opened up an office in Ghana. Facebook and Microsoft opened up an office in Nigeria. And there's also an office for Microsoft in Kenya. And this shows us that we have a lot of potential here in Africa. So if the youth gets the right tools, funding mostly, because it's all about funding at the end of the day. Like I might have a very good idea, but if I don't have funds to back it up, if I don't have funds to operate, at least to take care of the minimum bills, let's say rent, transportation, you know, there's that kind of amount you need for capital. If Africans can be given that kind of investment, we can do crazy things. I was talking about M-Pesa. M-Pesa was the first ever mobile payment that was made. Until now, it's making a lot of money. So we after M-Pesa, so many companies came from that. We have World Remit that comes from that. Before we only had PayPal, and funny enough, PayPal does not fully work in different African countries. So I would say we have the knowledge and partially the tools, but if you get more funds and more support, more mentorship, because also running a business is not easy. Under Africa's Talking, we have what we call 80 labs. So the reason why we call it a lab, it's not a lab as such. These are different companies that if somebody, mostly the employees say, I have an idea, I want to work on something, they take you to 80 labs. And in 80 labs, we give them a minimum fund they can use and the technology. And if the project is growing and they need somebody, let's say, with expertise of business development, I'll jump in and help them. So this is one of the ways we are trying to help the community as Africa's Talking. And I do believe now we have seen so many great products coming in, and we'll be launching so many products even here in Rwanda, and so many products came from K-Lab as well. I have in Kenya. So we just need the tools. And in 5 years to come, we'll be seeing that. We saw even Zipline. Zipline actually is, I think today they got a funding of $250 million just to help them prove their project. So I believe that in 5 years to come, we'll be talking about a different conversation of Africa. It will be the next Silicon Valley.
Well, next Silicon Valley, yeah. It has started even, we have universities put in place. We have
definitely
labs, like K-Lab, like Fab Lab, everything is put in place. So it's our time to shine. Okay? It's our time to use those technologies and not be left behind, but rather be part of this enormous development that our country is trying to attain. So allow me to visit the chat box and see what were the interactions and perspectives of our audience. And a lot of people are cheering about how the conversation is going. And
awesome.
That's awesome. I'll go ahead and read some of them. So Peter is saying, I'm happy to be here. Great to have you, sir. People are great that you are helping them learn new things. There is Irene, that's great. They were also inspired by the book that you recommended. And here is a question from Sel Capita. My question, do you have special programs for young Africans, just to empower them and as well as pioneering young data scientists in our continent? Yeah, that's the question for people.
Well, that's a very good question. So we do have hackathons, and before Corona, we used to make them physically, but now we have different programs that we're trying to run online. So we have hackathons. We do also help developers train on the product. And I know some organization currently, I don't recall the name. There's an organization that is offering free courses for data science. Yeah, so, but we as Africa's Talking, we do have that. And we used also to offer internship to different students, just as a way of introducing them into business. But we do have that. If you check on our website, Africa's Talking, there's a Slack channel. From there, you can get more information.
Yeah, you're right. Here's another question from Alice Moza. She was asking, she says, really more babies outside here are interested about technology, but not support programs to level them up. What supportive programs do you think you're going to put in place to support these young people who are interested in technology?
Well, interesting. I think my first recommendation would be to use the online tools that we have there, because trust me, I've learned with them. As I said, I did IT back in university, but I would say I only got the basics. The IT I know now, I got it from so many online platforms. And the good thing it's actually focused on what you want, because IT is very, very broad. It's very broad. We have networking, we have coding, programming, IoT, artificial intelligence. So it depends with what you want. And I'll recommend that use there's a website called Code Academy. It's free. Code Academy, and it's very interactive. It's a very good way to start from that, and from there you just keep going on with that. But specifically as Africa's Talking, unfortunately, we don't have like a 6-month program that we work on that, and we do have hackathons, as I said, but now we haven't got to the point where we can say we are able to fund this certain program. But yeah, you should try Code Academy, and I've used that so many times and it works, and you get more insight on that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, these young people should use what is available, because many of successful people here we have in Rwanda, maybe across the world, the globe, I was going to say across Africa, but across the globe, they did not become successful because they had everything in place. Not at all. They found the ways out. And I think we are in a better place because some days back, these things that we have, Fab Lab, the K-Lab, these universities that I imagine are not in place, but as they keep coming to Rwanda and Africa, I think we're having great tools and materials to use to enlarge our capacities and maybe be better people and better our continent as well. So a lot of comments has been given here, cheering comments from Grace Ngari. She said, proud of your son and dad, and that's good. And from Clementine Bawazi, she said, happy to be here this moment. Wow, it was wonderful. A lot of people were happy to be with us. And Peter also, yeah, well, great. Keep soaring high and higher. Yeah, a lot of people are cheering what you are doing personally, what I can say Afflatus is doing. This is a platform that youth should meet and discuss different issues that matter to us, that matter to our countries, that matter to our continents, and see how we can find out best practices to be done in order to get our continent from one place to another. So we're running out of time, and I'm very happy that you allowed to join us. It has been a very wonderful session. I think the audience, they were also very interactive as well, as we saw in the chat box. And I think they have learned a lot of new things, We have learned how technology has to be used, how we should perceive things, and how we should make videos of these things available to us. So we are closing at 8, and then 2 minutes, 2 minutes to 8 is in the place. So I want to thank you very much for accepting our invitation. It's been our pleasure to host you. And I want to as well invite the audience to our 18th Learn for Change edition. It's a weekly inspirational topic, this one. So you don't have to miss one of these, sure. So on behalf of Afflatus Africa, I want to thank you very much, our guest speaker, Ngari. You were very brief and very concise to the point. And this shows the impact that you're doing as the country manager of the company of Africa's Talking. And we think that you're doing a great job, and look forward to see what place do you have in next Africa in the next few decades. So I'll go ahead and say thank you, and why not have a safe night.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nelson and the team for hosting. And yeah, just keep going, keep inspiring people. And I do believe that you might not change 100 people at the same time, but you might change two. But the two would be a very big candle that can light others. So yeah, I'm honored actually to be part of this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We hope that you will accept our invitation next time. So
definitely.
yeah. Well, thank you to the
All
audience
right.
as well. Have a safe night.
All right. Cheers.